going to start in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright. So, text is in Japanese. This is a Japanese-only game. There is an English fan translation made by Aeon Genesis, which you should definitely play. But there is no official English version of this game, and so I'm going to be playing on Japanese. There's 2 classes of text box in this game. One is text which, like, kind of stops the game, and you can clear this text instantly by pressing start. And then there's text that kind of runs continuously while the game is still going. And that, you can't skip that stuff with start, but you can hold down L and R to advance it quicker. So you'll see me doing that quite a bit in this run. You also noticed I was jumping quite a bit, and that's because before I get like a dash unit for my mech, I'm gonna be very slow, and jumping's just a little bit faster than walking is. Alright, so I just gotta kill all these enemies. I want to kill as many of these enemies as show up, because each of them is going to give me a little bit of experience, and this is an action RPG, even though it hews kind of heavily towards the action part. So, yeah, I don't know, there's a lot of mashing. Not so much mashing text, but there is mashing mission reports, so I gotta take care of that. And here I'm actually gonna change all my settings real quick. You can't do that in the first mission, but starting in the second you can. Basically what I did, I set the message speed to fastest, I set the arm speed to fastest, and I set the control scheme to one that lets me put dash on a button instead of using a double tap motion on the D-pad. And so that's actually going to save quite a bit of time between all those things. Although, I guess the arm speed thing was just a personal preference because of the way that firing works in this game. Like, when I'm holding down the Y button to shoot my primary weapon, my weapon's going to be locked. So between times it's locked, I want it to be moving as fast as possible. Well, thank you for the luck, Highwinds. Oops. I took a hit that I didn't want to. So I guess I could try and update you guys on where we're at in the story, since you can't read any of it. So basically, our name's Albert, or in this case, our name's SSS. And we're like a loyalist. And there's... Yeah, we're like in the army. We're loyal to the sitting president, and there's a coup underway, and we're trying to keep the president safe from the coup. So, as far as we're concerned, that's all there is to this game right now. So, we got ambushed there, so we're gonna try going the other way. So here you can see, again, I'm jumping. I always want to be jumping when I'm moving forward. Until about 10 minutes from now, when that's going to change. I also want to just make sure that I'm not clipping against any, like, stage geometry. And I want to pick off some of these mechs. These enemies, they are worth experience, and experience does matter later a little bit. Oh, jerk. So Ark here, he's the leader of the sort of military coup. This is not working out. I want to be behind my shield to prevent having to resupply later. So yeah, he's like the bad guy right now. and so we want to stay safe from him. So you notice the president actually took his life into his own hands and rammed right into the right into Ark's mech, which is a pretty cool maneuver. It's definitely, yeah, it's not super easy to move around on the overworld because, like, it's not always clear, like, what direction your cursor is actually gonna go when you press a direction on the D-pad. You have to kind of memorize it for each mission, and as many runs as I've done in this game, sometimes it's still not good enough. And I end up going the wrong way. So here again, just picking up as many kills as I can, incidentally, along the way. Seems to have worked out pretty well. And the second thing, I guess, on the overworld movement is, if you hold down both A and X, you actually move a little bit faster on the overworld. So, so, I don't know, I'm never just pressing one button to move around. It's like, there's 3 speeds. You can just press the button and wait a long, long time to move. You can hold down one button, and you'll move a little bit faster, and then you go blazing fast if you hold both. So here, I could kill this enemy, but I'm deliberately going to not do it, because I wouldn't pick up enough experience in this level to be worth it. It's like very little experience that I would pick up. And if you pick up any experience in a mission at all, then you actually spend a lot longer in the mission report screen, because it has to, like, tally it all up. But here, if you get 0, it just skips right past it. It's really fast. So, I could pick up a dash unit in the shop right now, but it wouldn't be worth it. I'm going to have to do a shopping trip later anyways, so we're just going to skip right past that and move on. So here, we are trying to get in contact with the rest of the loyalists, I guess, in this base. So this has been our, like, sort of goal so far, is to get to here so we can do some sort of military broadcast. Or was it a public broadcast? I already forget. Last time I played through this game for story was, like, a couple weeks ago, because I was doing it for another marathon. I've already forgotten parts of it, which is pretty funny. But anyways, we got ambushed again, and so now Ark has the president captive, and we're going to be thrown in jail too. Alright. So, this is Brenda. Brenda was actually the pilot of the carrier that was, like, it was like the helicopter, the airship there, that was bombing us in the second mission. So, so now she's our ally. She helped us bust out of prison, and now we're gonna escape the country and join forces with her. Alright. So this is gonna be the last time you see tons of jumping around for a little while. Oops. Nice. Because starting just about in a minute or two, we're going to have access to the dash ability, and the dash is going to be faster along ground than jumping is in the air. Okay, so just smash through this mission report and we're getting out of here. So, we're gonna get picked up by mercenaries, and basically we're gonna become mercenaries here. And we're working for this, like, Colonelite Association, which is... I guess it's just, like, a crew of sorts. Or, like, an agent, I guess? It's like, yeah, it's like an agency. So they're a middleman, and they help us find jobs. And so here we're gonna go to this kind of place, Centric. And we're going to resolve a little rebellion problem. We've been hired by the government because there's, like, rebels carrying out guerrilla actions. And, yeah, it's not going to be as simple as we thought. Because why would it ever be as simple as we thought? So first, we have to fend off this attack. And, so there's, like, I think there's 10 or 11 enemies here that I have to face. Some missions in this game, you have to, like, destroy a certain thing. Some missions in this game, you have to collect a certain item. Some missions, you just have to move left to right or whatever. And then others, there's a few in the game that are like this, where there's an enemy meter that you have to deplete in order to end the mission. So that's that mission. We just took care of all the enemies, and now we're going to move on. Here, so one thing about this speedrun is I want to avoid having to do a resupply motion, like a resupply action whenever I can, because it's slow. It wastes a couple seconds every time. So even though I'm not at full HP, I know that I'm not going to take that much damage in this mission, so I can go... So I can go without the resupply, and that saves a couple seconds every time that I do it. You also notice that when I was equipping, I de-equipped and re-equipped my mech, and what that does is actually it just sets it back to full HP without having to do the, like, resupply action that does an animation on your mech's HP bar. So, so that's a little bit faster than, since I was already, like, equipping stuff, it's faster to just de-equip and re-equip the mech while I'm at it than it is to sit through that animation. So here, we find out that the rebels are actually using nerve gas, and we're trying to warn the people in town, but the people in town don't believe us. So they all just die pointlessly, I guess. Or don't die. They start writhing and spasming, which is not ideal. So that stirred us up into a murderous frenzy. So we're also going to have to deplete an enemy meter in this mission to proceed. So I'm using a mix of the, like, heavy knuckle punch, which is your basic secondary weapon here, and then the shotgun, which is a very powerful primary weapon. Oops. I'm not really getting my engagements where I want them to be. Hold up. Enemies, I guess I should talk about the way this game spawns enemies in. They spawn on the edges of your screen. And there's, like, a spawn timer for them as well. So it waits till the spawn timer is up, and then it spawns on one edge of the screen. So if I'm rocking the screen back and forth, I can get the drop on them a little bit easier, or, like, get them on screen faster. Alright, my HP looks good, so I'm gonna skip this resupply too. I will have to take a resupply after this mission, though. So here we're gonna track a plane crash, and turns out the plane actually had the nerve gas in it, So you could actually do these missions in any order, but it's slightly faster to take this order. Alright, where do I want to fight? This is already normally a little bit further right than I normally fight, but it doesn't really matter that much. I want to hope that I get mostly these mech enemies instead of the trucks or whatever these things are. They're like technically mecha, but they're definitely just trucks. And I want to get as many of the like fighting mechs as possible because they are worth more XP, and because they're worth more XP, they're actually worth more on the experience meter as well, or like the enemy meter. Alright, fine. Alright, so I'm going to heal up, and then I'm going to get in here, and I'm going to try and pick up a few kills. It's not going to be the end of the world if I don't get any. It's basically like these hovercraft here are pretty lucrative, and they can help me meet my experience and money targets. And then there's a lot of like hapless foot soldiers that I can take out at will as well. So the objective, I guess, here is we want to trace down where these chemical weapons are being manufactured. So that's where we're at right now. We're just looking around and seeing what's there. There's a specific order you have to do these 3 base missions in, because each one gives you like an ID card to get into the next one. And then the last one obviously actually contains the weapons facility. I don't want to take too much damage because I entered with less than full. Oh, I tried to actually get some XP off that. But it was not to be. Alright. So just gotta get past these mines! And then I'm home free? Oh, that was... I have 1 pixel of HP right now. If I do die, it doesn't really end the run or anything. All I have to do is just repeat the mission. It's not the end of the world. So now I'm going to go on a shopping trip, and I'm going to pick up a weapon called the Upward Vulcan, and that's going to be like my primary boss killer for the next hour or so. Oops. I also picked up fuel, so fuel is just your stock of HP for the game, basically. So, now maybe I can start talking about experience, because it's going to start to come into play a little bit more. Every time you get a hit with a weapon, that weapon gains experience. Every time you take a hit, like damage yourself, your mech gains experience. And every time you get kills, you gain experience. With your mech's experience, your mech gains HP as you take hits, basically. And it can gain armor as well at higher levels of mech, which we'll pick up later. Every time you get a hit with a weapon, its damage and sometimes ammo capacity or other properties can increase as well. And every time you gain a level, then more stuff is available in the shops. So it's important to hit all of those sort of XP goals at various points. There's two reasons I'm playing the Japanese version. Number one, it's the only official version. Number two is faster. So here, I want to kill these enemies as I pass through them, which is not as easy as it sounds, because if you're, like, dashing along the ground and you run into them, then you'll actually bounce off and take damage and not be able to get inside them and use the UVG. So yeah, I got lots of hits with my UVG, so hopefully it's going to have pretty good damage parameters, which is going to be nice for the boss. So we've taken out 2 of the, like, 3 bases here, and we have the ID card for the last base, which is the biggest, obviously. So obviously it's the next one, the last one. So we're just going to fill up on HP and ammo here, and then we're going to head in. So we're going to take out their chemical weapons and also a large mech that they're using to guard the base. And that's going to pretty much put paid to their revolution. Very nice of that guy to present himself to me for extra XP. So here, I'm actually going to make sure that I get myself down to exactly... Well, basically, I just want to be out of shotgun ammo by the end of this section, because then it's going to reload and I'll have a full magazine. Oops. For the next area. Sorry, for the boss, I guess I should say. Nice. Okay. So, the objective for this boss is just... I don't want it to move around too much. Because when it's moving around, it's tough to keep up with. It can get moving really fast. And when it gets moving really fast, I can't stay inside it. And when I can't stay inside it, then I don't have my major DPS here from the UVG. So this was a pretty cooperative boss, which is nice. And so now I'm going to be able to go in and take care of the reactor. Easy peasy. Just picking up a little bit of extra XP at the very end of this mission. Okay, so that was our first job for the Colonel-led Association, and every time we complete one, we're just going to head back to New York and have the opportunity to resupply and get ready for the next one. So here I want to pick up just ammo, basically, because I ran out of it, or, like, ran it down quite a bit before, like, against the boss. Anyways, so we've been hired, this time... We've been hired by rebels to take out a weapon owned by the government. So we'll be spending some time searching for that weapon. Oops. Nice pause. When you do go into that menu, you have the opportunity to, like, select weapons and use consumables and stuff like that. You'll see that a little bit more towards the end of the run than the beginning, because the consumables, they're not useful until you're constantly about to die, basically. Oh my god. Come on. So here, these guys, I want them to stay close to me. Actually, that was pretty kind of him. Also, I don't want them changing directions because that's confusing. It's tough to keep up with them. Alright. That wasn't the worst. So I guess the guy in the red mech, or Wanzer, I guess I should say, his name's Genos, and he's sort of a rival figure for the game. Alright. So, those guys are taken care of, and we're going to move on to this mission where we are trying to take out some experimental helicopters or something like that. They're annoying because they have tons of HP, they can be evasive sometimes, and they can call down airstrikes. So I want to not be the target of airstrikes because they're pretty dangerous at my low level. Alright, that wasn't the worst. So I'm just gonna move forward whenever I'm not busy fighting a helicopter. And pretty much perfect. So now I just wait out this text and then I can leave the mission. Okay, so, next up, instead of proceeding directly on with the story missions, I'm going to take a side mission here. This is an optional mission, but it's going to get me a ton of XP, and it's going to help me make my next XP goal. So this gunship, not only is this gunship worth basically as much XP as I've gotten from practically every enemy in the game up to here combined. Then also, I get a fat bonus at the end of the mission for destroying it. So, between those two, it helps me get to level 7, which is a very important level for reasons I'll show pretty quick. I'm happy to see so many people showing love for this game. This is a really fun game. One of my favorites. It is a little bit long, and the run is, you know, it can get a little bit samey if you're not deeply in love with the game. But really, I strongly encourage people to go and play this game casually because it's a lot of fun. And it may seem like a 3-hour-long side-scroller, but, like, you don't have to play it all in one sitting, obviously. Yeah, so when I got to level 7, I unlocked a new Wanzer, and that Wanzer has 2 weapon slots, and having multiple weapon slots is actually the most broken thing in this game, as you will find out soon. But first here we have to go through this mission. And here, basically what I'm doing is, my friend here is going to have to exit the mission to the right. And the enemies spawn from the right as well. So I'm actually going to have my back to the right side of the screen. And what that does is, oh my god, when I don't take forever to reload, he's going to exit on the left, sorry, on the right side of the screen, and it's going to be instant because I was facing away from it. And the camera kind of gives you more room in front of your mech than behind it. So there, I have a very brief moment of opportunity to jump after that text and before the next one. Normally I would be forced out of my mech, and I'd have to do a little bit more of that by running. As a pilot, but the jump speed in the mech is faster than that, obviously, so I wanna preserve that speed as long as I can. I'll be doing it again in the next mission. Alright, so I need to shop, I need to get Wanzer number 2. And I need to get a bazooka. And I need to get ammo for both my secondaries. And I'll be set. So, here, I'm going to go here. I'm going to equip my new mech. I'm going to equip my new bazooka. I'm going to reload. I'm going to go into the mission. Okay. This is an area where I can just, like, rest and talk to people or whatever. I select bazooka. Leave the mission. Now, I de-equip my mech, and I go into the mission. And something interesting is going to happen because of this. Now when I leave the mission, I'm going to go to the next mission, I'm going to re-equip my mech. And you'll see how many bazookas I have. Yeah, I have 94 bazookas. Basically what that did was, when you enter a mission as pilot, like completely without a mech, then the ammo count from the first weapon is written to the ammo count of the weapon you last had selected. So because bazooka was the last weapon I had selected, it wrote 94 ammo to that weapon. And now I have basically infinite bazookas to use as I please. So yeah, this game is similar to Metal Warriors. It's similar to Cybernator, Assault Suit Falcon, whatever you want to call it. Those are both great games, but I prefer the physics in this game a little bit more, even though it's not quite as like straight up action oriented. So here we've found out the horrible truth, which is that the sort of rebels we've been fighting for are actually pretty dirty. They've been stealing money from the citizens and claiming it was the government doing it. And so now that the beans are spilled, we gotta take care of these dudes. And so this is a mission with an enemy meter, and it's a mission with 2 different types of enemies that can spawn. You can spawn pilots, or like infantry, or it can spawn mechs. And I really want mechs because they're worth a lot more on the enemy meter each time. And the spawn timer doesn't change. So if I were to get all enemy infantry, it could be 30 seconds to 60 seconds longer than if I were to get all mechs. Looks like I'm getting mostly mechs so far, which is nice. You can see in the top right corner, actually, it shows the enemy meter when nothing else is showing there. So the enemy meter is about half depleted. Yeah, most of the front mission games, they're tactical. They're tactical war games. But this game is more of a side-scrolling action RPG. Alright, that should be it. So I guess I should maybe give some quick credits for people who discovered things in this game. I'm the one who did most of the route work for this game, but I couldn't have done it without OmniGamer, because OmniGamer actually compiled a lot of resources pertaining to this game back in, I think, 2012 or something like that. And he was the one who translated some resources, including one that actually described how to do that ammo duplication glitch that I just did with the bazooka. So his efforts were definitely much appreciated, and the run couldn't be what it is today without him, without his work. And then also Aguawath made a sort of a test task, not a complete one, but a test task that showed off some really cool stuff, including the use of the flamethrower weapon, which I adopted in my real-time run. And then Hetfield also who is the author of the completed tasks on task videos, was an extreme help with just with some like random little things. Like for example, he discovered that you can do like a little bit of a shield dash thing with some of the movement options towards the end of the game, which won't even come up for another, God, how long? Hour and a half. Yeah. So you notice that I did a reload action, and actually now instead of like 90 bazookas, I have 132. That's because whenever you have more than max ammo in a weapon, whenever you do a reload, it actually just dumps all your ammo into that weapon. So since I had like 45 spares left over that didn't normally fit in the mech, now they're all in there. So that's just a cool little thing. So now we're going to fight Chernenko. This is the super weapon that we were actually hired on to take care of. It's been found. And even though our bosses are corrupt, and we're kind of like we went against them, we're still going to complete this mission, because we don't really want a super weapon like this running wild. So here, I'm going to try and maximize the amount of hits that I can get with the UVG, because it's the fastest boss killer I have. But when the enemy is like far away, it's harder to hit with the UVG, so I hit it with the bazooka instead. The pattern I like is the one that it just did there, where it kind of stays low and then comes in and out. Because it's really easy to get a long chain of UVG hits there, just by following underneath. So Sigma, all of the partners in this game are completely useless, and I only equip them when they're absolutely necessary for story purposes. It's unfortunate, but it's just the way it is. Alright, so I need to pay attention for this shop, because I do need to buy a couple things. First is UVG 20. The second is right grenade. Sometimes I lose myself in these menus. And then I want to buy just ammo for all my weapons. And that should do me. And so the reason that partners are useless is because they don't do all that much extra damage to enemies. You have to repair their mechs, and on top of that, hang on. I'm gonna have to resupply. Duh. That's fine. So on top of that, when you have like a results screen, like a mission report or whatever, they just end up getting a bunch of extra level ups that you don't want to sit through. So yeah, it's like a really cool thing. It's a really cool feature of this game that you should definitely take advantage of when you're playing through casually. But for the speedrun, they're all completely worthless, unfortunately. So here we've been hired by the ARS, which is a faction in this war in not Saudi Arabia, or I guess not Egypt. Not the same thing. Yeah. Sometimes with a game like this, it's tough to keep thinking of things to talk about. But basically, where we're at is we're trying to track down a prisoner of war, basically. Oops. I'm being slow about it. Hold up. There we go. Alright, so we're trying to track down a prisoner of war. So we're just kind of hitting up all the hotspots in the region. And so we come across this woman, Camilla, and she's one of the jerkiest bosses out there. It's really hard to manipulate her. Her pattern is, like, not strictly random or anything, but it's really annoying to deal with sometimes. Thankfully, I got kind of lucky. Once she's under half health, then she becomes more willing to become vulnerable. Are you gonna... Alright, well, that wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst either. That's one of the most significant random factors in this chapter, I guess I should say. So, we kind of left her alone, and she was not expecting that. She was expecting us to just kill her, and so we're gonna let her stew on that for a little bit, and we're gonna go explore the rest of the desert. So I kind of want to kill these cars, because they're very weak and they're worth XP, which is nice. It's not really worth slowing down to do. I want to just take them when I'm already passing by like that. Okay, so we've cleared that area, and there's actually just a text queue here that says, "Oh, I wonder how that Camilla person is doing," and so we're gonna go check it out. And turns out she deserted, and now we're gonna help her. So we just have to clear this screen of enemies, and then we'll have a little cutscene, and she'll tell us where Leuven, who's our like POW that we're trying to spring, where he's held captive. Alright, so that was just a quick text dump explaining how her soul was, like, taken over by the war or whatever it is. Now we've freed her from that, so that's nice. So we're just going to proceed through the desert. We need to get to an armored fortress. I just took a resupply that I normally wouldn't take, but I guess it's not the worst. Not a big deal. So yeah, we just need to get through the fortress to our target, which is a, Did I just say through the fortress? Through the desert to our target, which is a fortress. On wheels. So all I gotta do is just destroy these two green enemies. And it's easier to do that if you take out their shields first. So I just took care of that. You can kind of like stand just outside the shield and shoot into it past its shield. Ooh. You can also get weapons that actually pierce shields, which is pretty cool. But most of the weapons that can pierce shields are not all that useful in normal circumstances, so I'd end up not using them. Yeah, some of the visual effects in this game are pretty sweet. Definitely gotta agree with that. So here we just gotta storm the fortress. It's like this huge Jawa sandcrawler that you gotta infiltrate. And it's the beginning of the sort of like maze-like base missions. So you see there's like lots of ways that the base is connected. Oops. Well, that didn't work out very well. If you destroy the hatch before landing, you'll actually skip the text there that played. Here I'm just making good use of my bazooka to pick up extra XP from these spider droid enemies. Probably not all of it is strictly necessary, but I do have a level target to meet by the end of this sort of chapter. So, while I'm here, I may as well grab whatever I can. Yeah, literally Super Star Wars. You're right, Eldra. So those, like, big mechs, they actually have a shield that they can throw up with their arm. And when they throw that shield up, it covers the upper part of their body, but not the lower part. So I'm shooting the bazooka, actually, while I'm on a slope. And that makes sure that, like, if the enemy mech does raise its shield, the bazookas will still go underneath it. Alright. Oop. That was a little dangerous, but it worked out. Alright, nice. Got a little damage boost off one of those guys. Something that I learned literally during my last marathon run of this game was that, you move a little bit slower to the left than you do to the right, which I never knew until just literally a week and a half ago. And also, when you're damage boosting, you move further to the left. Sorry, further to the right than you would to the left. It doesn't make any sense. So the whole reason I bought the grenades in the shop in between chapters was just to blow up that wall. I'm not going to use them again. At least this version. Is he gonna... Oh, nice. Oh my god. I'm gonna have to kill this guy anyways. That sucks. Anytime I have to shoot or, like, throw a grenade or anything, I have to stop to do that. Like, stop running, so... I would prefer not to have to do that. So there you can see, I wasn't able to shoot my bazooka from low enough, so I didn't manage to pierce through that guy's shield. Yeah, the character portraits are all by Amano. So here, we just gotta make our way back. We sprung our POW, and now we're going to escape and ultimately destroy this fortress. Yeah, there's a lot of similarities between this game's soundtrack and FF7, including sounds, like literally sound patches that were used in this game were also used in FF7, so they sound very similar as a result. This game was composed by, like, a literal who's who of JRPG composers. It's like Nobuo Uematsu, and then it's like Yasunori Mitsuda, and Junya Nakano, and Masashi Hamauzu. So it's like 4 really big names. even this... yeah, like, even the bit parts in the soundtrack were done by... basically people we now know as accomplished geniuses. Which is really cool. I'm gonna go ahead and resupply. It probably doesn't matter. Yes, there's definitely similarities in the playstyle to games like Metal Warriors or Assault Suits. games. Alright, so here we're gonna get attacked by cruise missiles, but our buddy saves us. He's a shield technician, and he doesn't want anything to do with war, so he's gonna leave us alone, but he did save us this one time, so that's nice. Alright, so we got access to a shop. Here, I'm just gonna buy a grenade launcher and ammo for that. And I'm gonna equip that because it's gonna give me, a little bit of extra XP in a mission coming up. So that's not great, but it's whatever. So the grenade launcher is really powerful, mostly because when it hits something, it explodes, and when it explodes, like, the explosion can pierce through shields, and it does a ton of damage, just like over time. And I'm gonna use that basically to take out some traps in the next stage that normally you would be expected to be too low level to take care of if you didn't know what you were doing like this. So first off, though, I gotta deal with this jerk boss. Oh my god! No! Why, dude? I can't hit him when he's like this. Alright. If I can keep him going back and forth and, like, staying up here. Oh my god. Please? Oh, dude! So you can see why I hate this boss so much. Thankfully, it's taken care of now. Okay, so thankfully you didn't get to see the DLC attack from that boss, which is when it stands up and does this, like, volley of grenades that each one of them does about 2/3 of my health. So if I were to get hit by that volley of grenades, I'd be pretty much pulped immediately and have to redo the mission. Thankfully you didn't see that. And also, if you, like, hit the helicopter rotors, you can get out pretty hard as well. But neither of those things happened, and so now this is an auto-scroller. We have to sit through this. So while I'm at it, I'm just trying to pick up as much XP as I can from the enemies and from the traps. Come on. Alright, and I had just enough grenades to finish the mission, which is nice. Okay. So, this is the final mission in this area. We're going to kind of take out the secret base of these dudes. So we gotta sneak in, basically, through the ventilation shaft. I kid you not, dude. You sneak in through the ventilation shaft, and now you're gonna take out these guys in their secret base. So the grenade launcher is also very useful for taking out these spider droids here that are... Oh my god. Well, they're not very conveniently placed right now. Completely missed that one. Alright. Didn't miss that one, thankfully. I do want to pick them up because they're worth 64 XP each, and 64 XP is still not nothing. Even despite how far we've come. This game, like, XP in this game scales pretty aggressively as you go further on. I think because they're expecting you to take a little bit longer with this game than a speedrunner does, right? So it can seem kind of weird. Seeing the numbers increase so fast. Nice, got the snipe. I didn't get the second snipe though, that's too bad. So here I'm just gonna jump as fast as possible. That triggers this cutscene, and the third text box of this cutscene lets me start actually attacking this beam cannon. So that's taken care of. I'm gonna try and kill these dudes on my way. Now I'm just gonna sit behind my shield and wait for that text box, and then I can go through. I don't like my HP here, so I'm actually gonna take a repair, which I normally wouldn't do. It's just better than accidentally taking a death, having to do that whole thing over. So here's the consumables that you can use. This one just did a quick repair. So I gotta jump up to hit this guy with the UVG. I just about got him. That's too bad. Okay. So, the boss is taken out. We've hit level, I think it's 12. So I can buy the shotgun 2, and I can buy the flamethrower 2. Those two weapons are going to be pretty important. So, just take care of those. Oh, while I'm at it, I want to buy repair shoes as well, just in case I need them in the next mission. Yo, what's up, Torta? Okay. So, now I'm going to equip my recent gains here. Some of these equip menus, they get a little bit interesting. Thankfully, I was able to do that one rather quickly. It's not always easy to find the exact one, like the exact item that you want, when you got so much junk hanging out in your inventory. I'm going to be clearing that out pretty soon, thankfully. But not quite yet. Because if I sell, I get a 10% discount in all the shops in this area. But that also applies to selling things as well. So I don't want to sell there. I want to sell in the next area. So I just got to sit through this text. And notice that I am ending the mission with the flamethrower selected. So if you remember what happened about like half an hour ago or whatever, this is where we start making special things happen. Alright, so we have no need of the shop this time. We're just going to proceed directly to the next chapter, which is basically, it's a personal mission that we're going to do ourselves, and we're going to go free our homeland. Okay. So, be very careful there. Make sure that I equipped everything correctly. Looks like it. I just dumped 4,000 ammo into that flamethrower, so it's got functionally infinite ammo now. And I'm going to be using that weapon for quite a while now. So here, we're just coming back to our homeland, figuring out what happened. Here we find out that, yes, in fact, our mother and father were executed because we're enemies of the state, basically. And so yeah, now we're mad, and we're gonna free our homeland. So here, I don't know if it's worth it to keep shooting this guy or not, but I'm just gonna do it because I can. Every time I switch away from a weapon and switch back to it, its weapon XP is actually recalculated, and it will become more powerful, just like instantaneously, which is a cool thing. So here's the first time fighting Genos. Basically, the strat is, if he's evasive, you use the flamethrower, and if he stays on top of you, then you use the UVG. Because it's still doing a little bit more damage right now. Alright, so we're basically invading the capital here. Which is, like, surprisingly unguarded. I was not expecting that. There's basically nobody here. And we're just gonna waltz right in, and we're gonna meet this, this wonderful person, who is totally the president, and not an actor at all. And we're also gonna find his handler. It's a woman named Royce. And we'll be seeing her quite a bit more throughout this game. Let me out of here. I can't just dash through these enemies, unfortunately. If I dash into them, then I bounce off. So I gotta, like, jump up and kill them on the way through or something like that. Alright. So we're just gonna continue our rampage through the country. Basically, our goal is to just blow up everything in our way, and then oh, nice. Oh my god, this is more enemies than I ever see in this stage. See, in that case, it would have been worth to kill a couple of them, but normally it's not. That was so weird. Alright, so here's Ark, and you remember how we had a lot of trouble fighting him before, but this time he's a pushover because we're so much more powerful. And he has not been getting more powerful. He hasn't been doing our, like, mercenary training regime. So we're just gonna have another fight with Genos here. It'll be really quick. Nice. And off-screen you see the introduction of our friend Rook. We'll be meeting him again. Yeah, so this game, think of it less like a tactical RPG like the mainline front mission games are. This is more of like an action RPG where the action element is a side-scrolling mecha game. So here I'm certainly going to be avoiding kills because they're not worth anything, really. Oh my god. I'm just getting owned by the enemy encounter right here. So we're going to meet our friend Rook. Here we go. He's his first time on screen. Rook is a fierce fighter. Oh my god. If I'd been out of position there, I totally would have gotten owned. He can shoot like 5 shots in a row, and each shot is doing like 200 damage, so you just completely get pasted. So thankfully that didn't happen, and I am alive. Didn't have to repeat the mission or anything. Yeah, Genos continues to be a bit of a blowhard and, like, very overconfident, even though he is just completely incompetent in every fight that you have. Alright, so actually I have to sell off everything before I get into the shopping part here. Okay, so, I have to buy upgrades from my shotgun. And I have to buy fuel. Oh my god, all of it? And I have to buy ammo for just the UVG. So here we're gonna stock back up, and we're going to engage in a little bit of reckless slaughter. Basically, we have to clear out all the enemies in this base so that they won't chase after us when we, or like reinforce the forces at the base that we're gonna hit next. Here, I'm actually sitting in the corner. There's 2 types of enemy that can spawn in this level. One of them spawns only from the left and is worth less XP, and thus less on the enemy meter. And one of them spawns only from the right and is worth more on the enemy meter. So basically all I'm doing is I'm making sure that there's no way for the enemies to be able to spawn on the left, which forces them to spawn on the right, which forces them to be the enemy type that I want. So this is like way faster than this mission used to be when I didn't realize how the spawning behavior worked. Yeah, it must be Gizmo. Alright, so I'm just gonna fuel up, and we're gonna take on Ark and free our country. And that's the end of the game, right? That must be the end of the game. There's definitely no way. There's no way that's not the end of the game. It's what it's all been about so far. Oops. Forgot what type of text that was. Alright, so I'm just going to clear out all my shotguns so that I have a full magazine for the fight with Ark coming up here. Basically... Oops, I have to be over here to trigger this. Ark is now in this, like, super Wanzer. Yeah, and it's big, and so we gotta blow it up. So once this gets down to about half HP, then the cockpit is gonna separate from the body, and I only have to kill the cockpit. If I kill the cockpit, then the body actually dies as well. So that was nice and quick. And I don't even need to worry about losing XP. I actually get the XP for both, no matter whether I kill the body first or not. This game has nothing to do with Cybernator except for being made by some of the same staff. I think what happened is, like, this team, the team that made the Assault Suits games, like, left Messiah or something, and got picked up by Square, or I'm not sure exactly what happened, but there's a lot of key staff in common between these two games. Anyways, so we're still mercenaries. We're gonna pick up a couple more jobs because something was a little bit suspicious about how all these groups we've been fighting have been getting armed. And so we're gonna continue investigating that. And basically, what we're gonna discover is that there's a bit of a conspiracy going on. But I'm getting ahead of myself. For now, we're basically just gonna help the peace talks of a country in Africa with a neighboring country. Oops. Alright, nice. So basically, the president of Zambola is missing, and we just found his, like, parachute there. So we know that he disappeared somewhere here and is close by. So we're gonna go looking for him. The first thing we need to do is, you wouldn't naturally go here first, but this is a little encampment of, like, enemies that we need to clear out for one very important reason. It's for an item that we're gonna pick up in this base. I'm picking up some money there, just in case that I'm behind on my money target. This game is definitely not a PC98 or Sharp X68K port. This is very much a Super Nintendo original. But you're definitely right about, like, some really cool games coming out in the sort of Japanese small studio. What am I saying? This is the wrong way. Hold up. Let me get a hold of myself before I talk again. I do not speak Japanese. I do not read Japanese. I played this game at first with a fan-translated version. And thankfully, since most of the important text is actually in English, I can play through without having to read any Japanese. Okay. So I got a shop here. I gotta buy the third Wanzer, and I gotta buy the third Vernier unit. Okay, so it's a good thing I picked up those extra cash pickups, because if I hadn't gotten at least one of them, I was actually not gonna have enough money. I'd have to sell something. Alright, so I'm going to equip the third Wanzer right now, but not... Oops. But not the Vernier unit yet, because... for now, at least, it's a little bit faster to move vertically with the first Vernier unit than with the third. Because, like, you can think of the first one it's like a kind of just a double jump. It's a quick double jump. It gives you a little bit of extra height and has pretty much instantaneous acceleration. You're gonna pick up more upgraded, like, Vernier units later on in the game, and... Oops. And they're gonna give you, like, a better max height, but they're slower for, like, the actual ascending portion. So here, this is just another auto-scroller that I gotta sit through. Destroyed a secret helicopter prototype or whatever. And now, just training up my flamethrower. I strongly recommend that people pick up this game and play it casually. It's a lot of fun. And, like, even if you're interested, you should definitely hit me up and I can teach you some of the things that happen in the speedrun. because the speedrun is also fun. Even though it seems like a little monotonous, it's all kind of the same sort of missions over and over again, but there's just enough different about each one that it stays fun. So I'm taking a resupply here. I normally wouldn't take this resupply, but just for marathon safety. So we've made it to this village here. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's kind of remote, and it's kind of also blown up, as you can see. So we're gonna find out who did that pretty soon. This is Bishop. Bishop is a really obnoxious character for many reasons. One of them is that he's just a jerk. Number one, he just kills these people mercilessly for no reason, other than pure like sadism. And then the second reason is actually an in-game reason, which is that he likes to hide behind his shield and he likes to get off screen. And neither of them are situations where you can actually hurt people. So, that's no good. Alright, so one of the people that Bishop gunned down survived, and it's actually this village chief. So we're going to follow this chief to his son, who has the president safely kept. So the chief is supposed to lead you, but I know the way. So I'm just gonna go straight there. And this time I actually did go straight there, instead of wandering off on a side path for no reason, which is nice. It's kind of hard to remember the path through this level, so thankfully I got it in one go. So here's Bishop again, and I really want him to stay on screen, and I really want him to not shield, but he's not being very forthcoming here. One of the cool things, or one of the silly things, I guess, about the translation is that since Bishop is such, like, a crude individual, the fan translation actually gives him a really awful Cockney accent, or as much as you can convey that in text. So here again, we would be led to this cave entrance, but we know the way. And so the reason we had to hit up the military base right like at the beginning of this operation is that it gives us this thing called a noctoscope, which just lets us see here. It's like an infrared or radar scanner of some sort. I think in game that's the explanation, but really it's just a key. You don't have the key to the you don't have the key to the caves, you can't get in. So. And now we got another fight with Genos. And he's just as much of a pushover as last time. I'm just gonna pummel him with the flamethrower until he gives up. Okay, so we rescued the president. We are in fact bad dudes. We rescued the president, and now they're gonna have the peace talk. Or are they? We're gonna find out here that the president actually got double-crossed by his foreign minister, and then the foreign minister who double-crossed the president got double-crossed by his collaborator from the other country. So now we have to kill this general who wants to prolong the war between what is it, Zambola and Tangani. And if he'll ever get on screen, then I can kill him and end the immediate conflict. Unfortunately, I think that this means that the peace talks are over. They'll have to try again some other time, but at least the president didn't die. Nice. I got a gold split. That's pretty funny. I was not expecting to get a gold split in a in a marathon run. All right, so we have no business here either. We're gonna go to our next mission, which is in basically Siberia. And so the Russian government has hired us, and they need our help against some terrorists. Oops. Let's actually equip a mech. Okay. So, we've been hired, and also Genos and his band of warriors have been hired as well. So, that's something. If you actually, there's you pick up a crew member. His name's Axel. In the previous like chapter, and if you bring him into this mission, then he has some interesting extra text where he won't work with these people because they destroyed his hometown, basically. So he'll actually, like, just leave. He'll get mad at you for even thinking about bringing him in. So that's a fun little touch that I enjoy in this game. Here, so we're on an oil rig. We're basically, our goal here is to, I'm gonna pick this guy up. Each of these guys is worth some XP, so it's nothing to sneeze at. So we gotta save the workers on the oil rig and stop the terrorists. And yeah, if this guy stops taking forever to get on screen, we can take care of him. Alright, he's done. And now there's this, like, big gun. Big guns that we gotta take out. I'm turning my back to the first one that I'm gonna destroy in each set just because, again, things spawn at the edge of the camera. So if the edge of the camera is closer to my mech and I turn around, then I can get at them faster. Alright, so we made it to level 18. Level 18 is the level at which we can get Flamethrower 3. So I'm actually gonna I'm gonna skip town right away, and then I'm gonna go buy that. And we're going to equip it and perform the duplication again here. Oh, that was pointless. I didn't need to do that resupply. Doesn't matter, though. All I gotta do is just make sure that I select Flamethrower, and then I go in here. This game is a lot of fun. Definitely play this game casually. Play it in English. Experience it once, and then if you're interested in the speedrun, hit me up, and maybe someday I'll be convinced to get off my ass and actually make some tutorial materials for this game. Alright, so we got our Flamethrower 3. We got our ammo. We're ready to go. I want to see lots of these gunships in this mission, and not not many of the Wanzers, because they're not worth a lot. But the gunships are. This is the... Remember, this is that gunship that we saw so many missions ago in that optional area. Oops. I think I lost that one, actually. That's no good. If enemies are critically damaged and they go off-screen, they can despawn. Because they're, like, running away or whatever. So here, I'm just, like, defending this convoy across the bridge as they're being attacked by pirates or terrorists. It's, like, never super clear whether they're, like, strictly pirates, strictly terrorists, or both at the same time. I think that's it. Yeah, so now we gotta fight this enemy. That goes down pretty quick. Okay, so there's some stuff we can do over there, but I'm actually not going to take care of that just yet. I'm going to take care of it on my way back. Oops, come on. Here, I'm just like, I'm grabbing hits for my flamethrower off whatever I can hit, just for XP farming purposes. And then all of the turrets and all of the, like, all of the easy-to-kill enemies I want to take care of as well. Because they're nice and fragile. I'm gonna kill this guy as well. Even though I'm pretty okay on XP, like, for my pilot. Oh my god. That jump right there is basically calculated so that you'll need to have the VU-30 to get up. It's one of only a few, like, sort of barriers where you have to have a certain vernier level to get through. So because of that, if I approach it the wrong way, sometimes I won't have the height either. Ugh. Get out of the way. Oh my god, get out of the way. Alright, so basically we're investigating this area because there's rumors of some terrorist activity here. And we're gonna find out, hey, there's some bombs laid here. And this guy is controlling the bombs, basically. He's the bomb mastermind. So we're gonna defeat him. And then Rook's gonna make a mistake. Rook's on our side here, of course, remember that. He made a mistake. He killed that guy, and killing that guy sets off a dead man switch that blows up all these explosives. And so now the city's on fire, which is not nice. And I'm going to pick up this piece of equipment. This is a Wanzer for my friend Lupin, who will have to take along on a mandatory mission in just a moment. In the meantime, I just have to get through here. So here we free Rook, he got trapped. And we'll get an amusing message from Genos because of that. Basically, too proud to say thank you. He's like, I heard you saved Rook. And then he goes on to say, like, figures, only you could be that naive. I love it. Alright. I guess I'm just fueling up before every mission, even though I really don't need to. It doesn't matter that much. Okay. Oh my god. So, now we gotta... Our next job is to cripple this, like, fleet so that they won't pursue us. One of the things I like about this game is that, like, a lot of the objectives seem to make a little bit more sense than you would expect from a JRPG. So we just gotta destroy all these engines on the, like... I don't really understand why they have engines on the top side facing forwards, but... Far be it from me. Alright. So this fleet is crippled now, and we can leave him. Leave him behind. That's an optional mission. We're going to skip it. This is not an optional mission. None of the missions in the rest of the game are optional for the most part. I think there's like one exception left, which I'll get to when I'll mention when I get to it. Here's Bishop. Bishop's going to ruin everything. Again, spoilers. Like, you should get used to that. Bishop always ruins everything. Literally the worst character. Alright, so we've captured this POW. Guess what? We're about to interrogate him, and Bishop comes and murders him. So now we have no information about what's coming up. Thanks again, Bishop. Ah, you're right, definitely for 6 spins. How could I have been so silly? Alright, so we've captured this, like, ship here, and we're gonna use it, we're basically gonna ram it into their defenses. You ever notice that these guys seem remarkably well armed for, like, terrorists and pirates? We'll find out more about that pretty soon as well. So our entire escort fleet just got wiped out in one shot. So that's something we'll have to contend with later. Just keep that in mind. We didn't recruit him. Our bosses recruited him. We don't want anything to do with Bishop, to be perfectly honest, but he works for Genos, and Genos is working for the president right now, and we're also working for the president. So we gotta deal with it while it lasts. Alright. Anytime now. So basically, the detonators aren't working. So we gotta trigger them manually ourselves. And that defense battery is taken care of. Okay. So next up, we're just going to kind to work around and seal these pirates into their base so that they can't scramble their reinforcements against us. So here, we're taking care of all of the underwater entrances to the base right now. There's no board for this game on speedrun.com because nobody else, that, to my knowledge, has ever done a speedrun of this game before. Well, with a couple exceptions. So there's a couple of times that I noticed that I saw on the Nico leaderboards, but they have no video associated with them, and the times are all over 4 hours, which is much greater than my time. And then one person got like second place without a recorded run by playing the game and following my route while watching one of my runs. Love you, Phil, if you're out there. So yeah, basically I'm the only person who's ever really taken this game seriously as an RTA game. And my personal best is 2 hours, 45 minutes, and 15 seconds. So we're gonna try and we're gonna try and get close to that at least. I don't think I'll beat it, but get close anyways. So I'm just fueling up. Probably didn't need to, but it's definitely not worth dying and having to redo the mission. Here, just take forever to... Oh, right. What am I doing? Over here. Up. So we just gotta clear out all these enemies, and once we do, this new airship is actually gonna belong to us. I'm pounding flamethrower shots into it. I don't know if it actually has any HP that I can farm experience off of, but I may as well try just in case it does. Oops. Oh my god. Ugh. Just gotta wait for this enemy meter to run out, and then this airship is mine, and it came with actually a new shotgun, a third level shotgun, which is very useful because I can't even buy it yet in a shop, and I wouldn't have an opportunity to buy it in a shop until, you know, sometime quite later. But I can pick it up right away, and that'll actually... Why don't I actually remember to do that? And I gotta equip Leuven, and I have to give him his third Wanzer. Alright, so all that equipment is taken care of, and the Shotgun 3, it's a higher level, which means that it's not gonna have its damage reduced when attacking bosses of, like, 3rd armor level or higher. So it starts doing damage, like, pretty well right away. And that little red square you see next to its ammo bar, that actually means that I'm underleveled and I can't gain experience in it yet. Okay, so the overriding priority here is to make sure that Leuven doesn't have his mech blow up, because I can't replace it. Like, if it happens, things will get ugly, because I'll have to go to the, like, shop and buy him a worse mech, and then do this mission again. So we're gonna make sure that doesn't happen. And the big thing for that is making sure that he doesn't walk into a bunch of enemy explosions. I might have to use a repair on him. In fact, I will right now. Okay, that's gonna change my repairs. I might actually just buy a repair 1 as a dummy later, so that my menus are correct. Alright, he should be safe now. Hello? Could have sworn that starts as soon as we're both on the train. Alright, so now I gotta fight this boss. I gotta make sure I don't die, but at least if I die, I just repeat the mission. I don't have to go shopping for another mech or anything. So we took care of that boss in quick order, and oops. So now that's pretty much it. We've sealed up all the entrances. They're trapped in their base, and so we can go finish the job. And as you might expect, as soon as possible, I'm de-equipping my friend, because you notice that he actually got 2 levels up there. And then, of course, he also wasted a bunch of fuel. So it's pretty much never worth taking along a companion that you don't absolutely have to. Okay. Next up. So, you may recognize this laser that he just shot at me as the weapon that destroyed the escort fleet way back like 10 minutes ago. So, we need to find a way to deal with that. So you may remember that we met a crazy shield engineer back in the desert. So we're gonna go talk to that guy. And hopefully he'll have a solution for our laser problem. So here, I won't even bother resupplying, because all the enemies here are so weak. They're from, like, several chapters ago. So, you remember how I had to dump, like, a load of bazookas into those guys, before? Now they pretty much just die in one shotgun shot. So, it's basically just free XP I can take at will. And we're gonna meet our guy, Sakata, again. We're gonna tell him about this awesome new beam weapon that he can test his shield against, and he's gonna join our party. Yeah, this game owns. Definitely, if you haven't played it before, play it. If you have played it before, well, then just enjoy. Yeah, so like most of the front mission games, of course, it is a tactical war game, RPG sort of game. So So it's a little bit different. But I enjoyed this game quite a bit. So we got our shield. We're ready to go. We're gonna take on the leader of these pirates. And we'll have a little bit more exposition as well. Yeah, dude, it's a lot of fun. And it's very beautiful. It's one of the best looking Super Nintendo games out there, I think. Alright, so we're gonna try and get this kill in one cycle. And if we don't, it's not the end of the world. But it looks like I got it. Yeah, easy. Not even close. So, you may recognize this person from back when we were freeing our home country. It's Royce. And she's Genos' sister, who has taken on this life of evil or whatever. Working for, quote-unquote, the Society, which is basically like an Illuminati sort of conspiracy organization. Alright, so, we've kind of figured that there's quite some things going on here. And so we've been hired for this job, basically... Oops, I have to de-equip Sakata. And then you again, remember, like, every time I'm going into the equip menu, I de-equip, re-equip my Wanzer, and that just heals it without having to go through the animation. But yeah, so like we've been hired to go out to Machu Picchu, and so the governor of the area is saying, "Hey, we've got this guerrilla problem. Can you take care of them for us?" So we're all too happy to oblige. And all right, I'm just gonna park right here, hold some buttons, and drink water. Actually, I'm going to adjust my angle just a little bit here. There we go. I'm not aware of any games that, like, use assets from this game. It might be possible that there are some reused assets, but rather unlikely. So, the rebels are retreating. We're going to chase them into the hills, basically. And we're going to find out that not everything is quite as it seems here. Alright, so we're fighting here, and this is Grant. He's one of the rebel leaders. He gets kind of gung-ho, and he's fighting us, and there's children around, so we gotta prevent that. We don't want to be fighting around children. And then their leader, well, I guess his boss, Anita, is more reasonable and comes out to talk to us and suggests that we might not have the full picture here. This might not be just like a straightforward job taking care of some terrorists. Oh, am I gonna take damage? I dodged it. Got him. All right. So basically, this is our main character saying, "No, I don't want to fight you." What? I have to kill that guy. Oh my god, I've never been screen locked there. I know it exists, but it always gets cleared right before the text does. So now we gotta fight Grant again. And we're gonna pretty conclusively best him now. Alright, so we talked to Anita. She says, we should go check out Mario's. There's some sort of like weapons manufacturing going on there. So we should go see that and see what our employer is all about. So we're gonna go see that now. But first I'm gonna go shopping. So I gotta sell off everything, and then I'm gonna buy Wanzer 4 and Dash 3 and repairs. And then after that, this is really gonna start taking off. Nope, none of that. Oh yes, and these guys. Easy for me to remember. No. I can't even buy... Okay. That makes things more complicated. Yeah, that'll be enough. Okay. So I'm just gonna perform the equips now. No. Oh, what am I doing? Oh my god. Getting lost in the menus a little bit. It's sometimes hard to remember everything that you gotta do in this game. Thankfully I'm not completely out of my mind. So here we're gonna figure out the dark secret of this area. And now you can also notice that I'm doing like dash jumps. Basically, the way that the previous dash worked was you accelerate up to a max speed and you stay at that max speed along the ground. The way this dash unit works is you go incredibly fast right away, and then you have lots of friction taking you back down to normal speed. But if you jump, there's less friction in the air. So you can get going quite fast. And then also you can like do shield dashes, Soten style. But they're less useful. You only want to do those when you have a specific amount of distance to cover. And you don't want to be in the air for it. Like, it's moderately useful when I'm trying to move around and scroll things on screen. But just pressing the dash button is sufficient there too. Hey, Crimmy. Well, if you're looking at my splits, which you shouldn't be, remember that they're my average splits that I'm running against. This is a no reset. So, I'm not actually ahead of my run right now. Alright. So, we're talking to Grant. Anita's been captured, so we need to go bust her out of prison. And so basically now we're against our employers. Because they're part of this society, and we want to destroy the society. So that's where we're at right now. And, yo, guess who's in the Palace Guard? Yeah, that's Genos. We're not going to fight him right now, but that's the thing to keep in mind. Please go. So, we're invading, and we just gotta get through here. Oh! I always forget what I'm doing. Alright. So over here, here's the prison. We're gonna bust Anita out. Nice. And then we're just gonna proceed directly further, because we're gonna chase Jose, who is our employer. And we want to give him a piece of our mind. Oops. Nice. The fall here is like, it's not as simple as it looks. Okay, so now I fight Rook and Bishop at the same time. And I want Bishop to do a... Yes! Right away, dude. Nice. So this attack is very dangerous. It does a lot of damage, but he's also vulnerable during it. And normally, there's, like, periods. It's like a cycle-based fight where he's behind his shield for some time, and then becomes vulnerable for a very short time. But he stays vulnerable when he's in that, like, Doom attack or whatever. And it can only happen when both Bishop and Rook are still in the fight. So, I really want it to happen within the first couple cycles so that I can kill them both quickly. So that worked out incredibly well. That was about as well as you can expect it to go. And so we're just gonna fill up. And we're gonna go chase him. Because Jose is leaving. He's in his sort of airship. We don't want him to escape. We want to blow him up because he's a bad guy. He's got an enemy for us, which is not the easiest. I mean, the problem with being in the air like this is you don't really have any opportunity to dodge attacks. So I just basically tank them all and expect to take a lot of hits and try to dodge the laser because that does a lot. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter. Actually, I was supposed to be over here first. Not that it really matters that much. So we destroy all the turrets, and now the airship is blowing up, and Jose's gonna try and escape in his, like, escape pod, but he's gonna get blown up by this guy, Praetorian, who's basically saying he's incompetent and executing him for his failures. So this guy's like Darth Vader, basically, in our ongoing Star Wars analogy. Level 25 is nice. That's kind of where I want to be. So, unfortunately, since we went back on our employer, we actually went back on our agency as well. So the Colonelite Association, we're no longer employed through them. So that's gonna have some effects. Not really many. It ends up just being like whatever. But now we're like basically we're fighting the society full time as members of this like Guardians organization that Anita is one of the higher ups in. Ooh. Thanks, that's a wall. I should not run headlong into the wall. That wasn't the part of the analogy that we're going for. He's like a trusted right-hand man to the big bad guy. Like a personal knight. So this mission, I could pick up some XP here, but it ends up not being worth it. I'm going to be doing a grind session later, which is a little bit more efficient. And here, we're going to have a little chat with our pal Genos. It's a long auto-scroller. Oops. He has these, like, meaningless words to say about following power or whatever. Changing to the winning side or whatever he says. All of it's kind of meaningless because throughout the game, he's been completely useless. He's not been able to do anything against me. Like, I've been trouncing him in every fight that we have. And he still talks down to me like I'm some sort of kid. And it really pisses me off, actually. Because I've bested this guy so many times, and he still just won't give up. I'm basically just shooting my shotgun because I can. And on the off chance that I get some hits that, like, give me weapon XP for it. Alright. So, what's our objective? Our objective right now is we need to find information about where the Society's hideout is, basically. Where their main base is. We don't know anything about that yet. So we're still kind of in the dark. So we're going to try and hit up this computer facility and see if there's any information here for us. And here's where I'm actually going to do a little bit of grinding. So I want to take out a few turrets and all of these tiny little enemies, because they're worth lots of XP and kind of fragile. And I need to make it to level 27 at the end of this mission. I want that guy. You are not getting away, buddy. Alright. That'll be probably good enough for outside. And now that I'm inside, I'm gonna be clearing out this area of these big Wanzers, because they're worth like 4,000 each, and have very little HP. So they're basically like free kills for tons of XP. And there's like 6 of them. I'm gonna kill all 6 this first time, and then just the 4 closest ones the next time. And that should be good enough. Especially since I got lots of those spider droids too. I'm gonna take one more repair before going in. We're gonna kill this guy just because he's here, and then move on. That should be enough. Okay, so I'm trying to access the computer, and it doesn't have the information that we need. So we're stuck. We have no idea where to go next. So we'll figure that out soon. Yeah, most of the front mission games are tactics RPGs. So there, we got to level 27, which is coincidentally the level for Flamethrower 40. So I'm gonna go pick that up right away because it's gonna immediately start saving time. It's kind of unfortunate that you can only buy the flamethrowers here because they're sort of secret weapons. I'm actually gonna buy repair 10s, repair 1s here. To get my just get my menu back in shape so I remember where I'm at. Okay, so quick flamethrower, that's good. De-equip my Wanzer. And leave, and when I re-equip my Wanzer again, I'm gonna have basically infinite ammo in that flamethrower. And the first place I'm going to go is here. This is actually an optional mission, but it's an auto-scroller, and it gains access to the shop. So I would need to do this mission anyways to gain access to the shop because it would be slow otherwise. I'd have to, like, make do with worse equipment for the next missions. And since it's an auto-scroller, it's a perfect opportunity for me to train out my new flamethrower. So I'm going to be doing that. Here I'm making sure not to shoot with anything except for the flamethrower. And I'm also not switching away from it and back to it, because I want to get the maximum number of hits onto this thing as possible. While I'm in this auto-scroller, right? Where it doesn't matter how quickly I kill enemies. And then I switch back because there's going to be a boss fight here. A mini-boss fight, I guess I should say. These mini-bosses, I want to kill them all roughly at the same time. Like, get them all kind of low before starting to kill any, because they become more evasive and faster as they start to die. So that was nice and fast. And now that we have some experience into that flamethrower, I'm going to head into this next mission, which is to take out some sensor jammers so that we can so that we can be a little bit more precise about what's going on. So because we did the missions in this in the order that I did, like, these communications jammers go down way faster than they would normally if I were to do this one as the first mission. I'm actually going to take a repair 3 right here. I'm feeling it. That wasn't quite what I wanted. There we go. So there I collected an item which refills my ammo in the currently selected weapon, which I can use for the final boss. And at the same time, I completed the mission. Oops. Hang on, I'm not supposed to go here yet. I need to shop first. So basically, I was able to skip the like little text box that I normally get when collecting a weapon. So now I gotta sell off all my stuff again, which is not all that much this time. And I gotta buy VU-50, max pilot gear, and remember to equip that. Armor plate 40, hard knuckle 40, repairs, fuel. Yeah, and I'm good now. So now I'm going to equip all my recent gains here. And we're going to go take out their, like, I don't know, their flagship carrier almost. It's this really, really powerful carrier that they've had operating here. About halfway through. Oops. I get 100% in this weapon at some point here. Yeah, there it is. So I want to be switching back to it every now and then. Okay. My experience is looking good right now. There's one more level target that I need to meet towards the very end of the game. Yeah, very similar to Cybernator, or like your Assault Suits game is your Metal Warriors. But it's got this RPG story at the same time, which I'm trying to keep up with, but it's hard sometimes when I'm playing the game. So basically, this is like, this base, Villa Blanca, is our next best hope for figuring out where their actual headquarters is. So we're gonna try and sneak in while there's an attack happening, and listen to the awesome music. And there's gonna be some mandatory pilot sections, so that's gonna be cool too. That was actually a mandatory pilot section that I skipped by using the hard knuckle punch to actually just like burst right through the wall. And I'm going to be able to do that on these ones, too. But, unfortunately, the next two, they're vertical, so I can't actually do that. Ooh. Come on. Come on, buddy. You know you want to die. Alright, thanks. So, yeah, this is my first forced EVA here. And this is why I bought max pilot equipment, because if I didn't, I would have to be very careful here. So you can climb up walls in the as a pilot, but it's a little bit faster to just repeatedly jump up instead. Alright, do I get a pilot here? Alright, well I managed to kill him, so I didn't get knocked down or anything. Hello? Alright. Not bad. So, that's cleared one of them. There's one more that I'm going to need to clear. So, I'm going to get back in my mech, move like 20 feet, and then have to do this again. Watching a pilot-only version of this run would be probably the most boring possible thing, because you'd have to be so careful about everything, and you'd constantly be... I guess you'd end up being pretty over-leveled so that you had enough HP. I don't know, it just doesn't sound like a good time to me. Especially when, like, a lot of the speed in the game is actually from the mech movement. Alright, so here, I wanna... Oh, I'm afraid that this guy doesn't screw me over. Oh, I got knocked down. Alright, we're fine. If I die, I have to repeat this, like, 4-minute long mission. So that would be not ideal. So there you can see, like, just occasional use of the shield dashes to clear areas where if I tried to do just a normal dash jump, then I would get stuck against a wall or something. This is just some play around because I'm waiting. And Genos is going to come crash the party because, of course, why not? So he's actually here for information on where the Society's main base is as well. But because we can't help but fight each other every time we meet, we gotta fight him. This fight's a little bit longer, he's got lots of HP, and he can do quite a bit of damage, so I have to watch my HP count, but I usually have pretty good warning when I'm running low. Alright, got him with only one repair, which is nice. Alright. Hello? Sometimes I hate the triggers in this game. See there, I probably should have done that with shield dashes because I got stuck against the wall. But it's no biggie. Oops, wrong way. So now we listen to the awesome escape music and we escape. Okay, so Genos got out as well, and so we'll probably meet him again. Yeah, a Super NES is basically just an NES, but lots of it, right? Okay, so so good news. We found the Society's main base. Bad news. Their main base is a flying fortress that we can't reach. So we gotta get geared up with a new airship, and that airship is gonna give us the range we need to actually catch up with with Sentinel, which is the name of their base. So here we're going to pick up this new airship. It's awesome. That's going to be our final airship. Okay. So now we actually have the range to go take on the Society at their main base. So we're getting close. Close-ish to something like an end of the game. So that's cool. First thing we have to do is we have to strip its We have to strip its escorts, basically. There's a lot of airborne Wanzers here that we have to take care of. And the TAS! Oh my god, the TAS! For those of you who love pilot only of this game, the TAS is something to watch. Because this mission is done as only a pilot, because it's done as part of like the ammo duplication glitch that I've been using to power my flamethrowers all this time. And yeah, the play around in Headfield's TAS in this level is something to behold. Definitely watch it. I'm taking more damage than I really want to on this level. I do need to watch out, make sure that I'm not wasting my fuel reserves too much, because I need to have enough fuel not just for these missions, but for something afterwards as well. So that's something to keep an eye out for, but I should be fine. So here we've gotten through the defense fleet, and now we're onto the wing of Sentinel, and we're just going to slow it down a little bit so that our fleet can catch up. So obviously that means destroying a large number of engines, because when hasn't that helped? Where am I going? I'm not getting as many as these like trash mobs as I normally get. So I hope that's not going to screw too badly with my experience tracking. I do have, again, one more XP goal left to meet. I need to be level 32 by the end of the next mission, which is normally not too hard to do. Let's go. Oh my god. Let me through! Alright, well, I guess that helps me get the extra kills that I was missing from earlier. Alright, so that's enough engines, so we're gonna head straight in. I should have plenty of fuel left over now. Now that I think of it. So we should be fine. Oh, let me down, please. Sometimes it can be hard to get that down and B to do actually what you want it to do. Come on. Please! So I don't have any weapons except for my shotgun right now, which can actually hit those boxes. So I'm kind of at the mercy of my aim there sometimes. Just hovering over this guy's shield so that he can't attack me. Basically, I'm safe. As long as I'm hovering like that. He does have the flying kick. That doesn't come out too much, though. And then this mini boss resembles a little bit the one that Ark used in the 5th chapter, but it's nice and tiny. It's like pint size. I don't like my HP. I may as well just use this. I'm gonna be burning through a lot of my repairs in these late game levels because basically because you're expected to, or you're expected to have the level 5 Wanzer, which makes some of this stuff much easier. So here, Genos' whole goal here has been to kill his sister. So he's gonna get up in here and actually try and go through with it. She gets away barely, but we'll see how that goes. He gets beat down by Darth Vader, and now we're gonna have to fight Darth Vader. There's 3 phases of this fight. One of them happens now, and then there's 2 final phases towards the end of the stage. This one is the worst, though, because there's a lot of ways he can make himself unhittable. Thankfully, he's being friendly so far. So now we're gonna go chase him. Chase him down. Oh my god. Come on, let's go. How optimized is this game? I'm in no position to say that, whether it's optimized or not, because, like, at this point, I've done pretty much all I can, but I don't know what's possible, because my imagination is limited to just, like, the things I can think of. And I've tried pretty much all the things I can think of in this game now, but who knows what somebody else might be able to come up with if they took this on as a speed game. So, the answer is, I don't know. Also, the answer is, Praetorian, please get on screen. Alright, so now I'm gonna wait and sit through this long cutscene. Well, this part of the cutscene isn't that long, but there's a lot more coming. Basically, we're finding out this is the controller. He's our emperor figure, basically, to continue to torture this Star Wars analogy. And he just died, and so we'll see what happens as a result of that soon enough. And so Sentinel's dying, it's blowing up, and traditionally in the run, this is where I take my bathroom break. I'm gonna go ahead with that tradition, so I'm just gonna cut my mic and try and update you guys on the story when I get back. Okay, I am back. So, where are we at? So, we killed the controller, and the society is in disarray. But the society actually armed... You know that big space elevator that we kept ignoring on the world map the whole time? Yeah, so that's heavily armed now, and it was rigged to a dead man switch on the controller, and so now it's going haywire and starting to blow up random places, which is not good. We don't want that to happen. So we have to go destroy Atlas now, which is the space elevator we're talking about. So that's basically where we're at right now. And Genos figured this out and started going there himself. So we'll totally never see him again. So here, one of the funny aspects of this cutscene in the speedrun is that you get to see the character portraits of all these people that you met throughout the run, but like never freaking used. Basically never at all, except when absolutely necessary. And we're going to break that rule actually very quickly. We're going to be using an ally that we strictly wouldn't need to in order to complete the game, but it's going to make things a little bit easier for me. Can I read Japanese? No, I played through this game with the English translation once, and am using my recollections of that to inform my commentary. Okay. Actually, I'm going to go back just in case... Oops, that's not the one I want to unequip. This is what I want to unequip. Nah. I'm going to sell those off. So I come here, I've Anita equipped as my partner, and we're going to go to talk to one of the people here. And that person's going to grant us access to a secret shop. We're going to be able to buy a bunch of endgame items. And since I would need to do a shopping trip anyways to pick up fuel and... Oops, that's not the one. Fuel and extra repairs for the final missions. Like, this is not that much of a detour. So it just ends up being really nice. So we talk to that guy, he finds out, oh, well, there was some weapons that got lost in the wreckage or whatever. We picked them up and we shipped them off to our supplier in Australia. And look at the route that we take from South America to Australia. We will go... we go east! Look at that! I need to sell first. Alright. So, buy Spark Shot 50 times 2. Repairers up to max. Fuel up to max. Spark Shot 21. That's all the shopping I need to do for the rest of the game. Oops. Okay, so this Spark Shot is extremely powerful. I forgot to de-equip my partner again. So, yeah, the Spark Shot is incredibly powerful, so we're going to make good of use of it. And the first thing we need to do is grind it up. So, this mission is an auto-scroller, which provides a perfect opportunity to grind up our Spark Shot. So all I need to do is just make sure I'm holding the A button, which is the special weapon button. And not taking too much damage, because the more damage I take, obviously, the more repairs I have to take. The Spark Shot's really powerful because it not only does it have good base damage, it's also a level 5 weapon, which I haven't had any of yet. And on top of that, I can just hold down the A button and it'll automatically target enemies. So I don't even have to think about aiming or anything. I just stay safe and stay in range. And the Spark Shot does all the work for me. So it's quite nice in that respect. And I bought 2 of them, so when I run out of ammo, I can just switch to the next one. And this one also gives me a quick boost in power. Alright, so now I want to stay safe. I don't want to have to take another repair. I probably will, though. Ah, never mind. I'm perfectly fine. Fan of Raiden games? Yeah, not bad. Yeah, this is pretty much a toothpaste laser from Raiden 2, actually. Alright, so now we gotta make our way up Atlas, basically, one area at a time. Oops. Oh my god. And I want to clear out all the traps. The traps are more important to me to clear out than the enemies, because the traps are going to do a ton of damage. I actually have to write this one. What am I thinking? So, the first and last elevators I can skip completely, but this one and the next one I have to actually ride for a certain point, for a certain portion before moving on. See here, this one I have to ride until about here. And again, I'm prioritizing training up the Spark Shot over everything else, because the more damage it does now, or sorry, the more hits I get now, the more damage it's going to do against stuff like the final boss. This is quite important. Wow, did I actually get through this without a repair? That's pretty uncommon. Yeah, unfortunately, this game has pretty decent sound effects. It's they're not bad. Really, the music is the peak of the sound development in this game. But the sound effects aren't bad, except for the Spark Shot is really grating for whatever reason. So here, in this one, there's a bunch of elevators, and I don't have to ride any of them. Oh my god, am I stuck? come on. I don't have to ride any of the elevators here. I could skip all of them. Alright, so we've cleared the two, like, intermediate areas of Atlas, and now we just need to move up to the summit and take on the core. Because, of course, you take on the core. You have to shoot the core. So, that's gonna be the last mission of this game, so we're, like, 5 minutes away from finishing, which is pretty cool. I think this is gonna be my second best time ever, actually. As long as I keep it together in this mission, which is pretty cool. Yeah, this game's soundtrack is made by, like, a stable of Squaresoft All-Stars. I'm just gonna not have any monkey business here. Take the repair right away. Alright, so Spark Shot's up to 100% now. So I don't need to worry about, like, switching anymore. Again, another repair. Huh? I could have sworn that's actually... Yeah. Okay, and then I can skip this elevator. I have to just, like, take a little thing. This area is kind of laggy. Alright, take another repair. Yeah, front mission games... Oh, that was a wasted repair, but it's not the end of the world. I've got tons. So front mission games are tactical RPGs, but this game is like a spin-off that's an action RPG. Okay. So those were the last normal enemies of the game, and I've just got to take on the final boss. Yeah, this game's very similar to Cybernator, to Metal Warriors, and some other games like that. I'm not likely to use my shotgun all that much, but I'm still gonna make sure it has full ammo for the fight, just in case. Alright, so the first phase of this boss is like the hardest thing I've ever fought in my life. And then the rest of the phases of the boss are not that hard at all. Because, like, this phase of the boss has these revenge shots that it shoots at you. Oh my god, I'm already taking a repair. So, like, every time you damage this boss, it shoots a bullet at you. And they, like, home for a while as well. And they all do a lot of damage. So that's the most dangerous phase of the boss, and then followed immediately by the least dangerous phase of the boss. And then this one, I guess it can do some damage as well, but if I'm just concentrating on using my spark shots, there's not much danger here. And so one of the cool things is that this spark shot, it actually goes through this shield that's around the core. So I totally skip a phase of the core, essentially. Alright. Just go through here. So the final boss is dead, but we're not finished the game just yet. There's just a little bit left to do. Alright, so we gotta fight this jerk one more time. Well, sorry, just kidding. We gotta get into the correct exposition with this jerk one more time. And he's gonna knock us into the escape pod, and that is time. 2:46:03. So that was not bad. Definitely a lot better than I expected, considering I didn't have much time to practice the game before this run. That's my second best time, and it's behind my PB by only 45 seconds. So that's pretty crazy. So yeah, basically we got pushed into the escape pod, we're falling down, and now we're gonna get saved. But I think that's gonna be it for me. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy all the rest of the runs to come in SNES Superstars.